Director of the Center for Presidential History at SMU. One of the speakers tonight is going to be Melania Trump, his third wife. I guess wives 1 and 2 were not invited. What will she tell the world about the Donald Trump she knows and why he deserves to be president?
Well, first of all, she's going to be introducing herself to the country. This is a woman who has not said a lot on the campaign trail as much as she has been seen. So she's going to be introducing herself as Americans want to vote for not only just the president, but a full family, of course.
Sure.
And what's going to be interesting to see is whether he shows up at some point to embrace her, because typically when a presumptive first lady goes out to speak, the presidential candidate comes out, gives her a hug, waves to the crowd. It's going to be curious to see whether Donald Trump can keep from actually addressing the crowd at that point. I suspect he will.
Right. Equally notable is who is not going to be at this convention. 2 former Republican presidents, both named Bush. The last 2 Republican nominees, Romney and McCain, will not be there. Many Republican senators, particularly those who are in tough re-election battles, skipping the convention this year.
There's a long list of people who aren't going to be there, and in fact a long list of senators, as you mentioned, including also we have Ohio's sitting governor, who's a Republican, who had campaigned very hard to get the convention in Ohio itself. It's really an incredible statement about a party that is not necessarily as unified as they would like to be, obviously, but it also tells us that the people who are there are those who are going to be full-throatedly supporting Trump. I mean, this is going to be the people who see on TV are those who are fully on board. This is his convention.
Who is Mike Pence as far as the Republican Party goes? He's known in Washington, and he's known outside of Washington as well. And what does Donald Trump get by naming Mike Pence?
I think what Donald Trump gets by naming Mike Pence, the governor of Indiana, who's a known conservative and a very hard-line conservative, is really helping to shore up his base. And it's a curious move because it suggests to us that Trump is concerned about his base and not necessarily reaching out beyond those who would already be inclined to vote for him. But the really interesting thing about Pence as a choice is that nobody ever votes for a president based upon their vice president, but we can look at the selection of a vice presidential candidate as essentially the first move of an administration, the first time you're really coming out to the nation and saying, here is what my presidency would look like. And in this case, I think we're seeing a presidency that appears potentially chaotic and disorganized. This was a decision that was difficult for Trump to come by all accounts. It was rolled out, then rolled back, then rolled out again in a very confusing way with both press statements and Twitter statements in contradiction, and it suggests to us a campaign that hasn't really been ready to hit the ground running.
And that at some point, the machinery of the Republican Party that Doug Luzader was talking about has to kind of take things over. They know how to place ads. They know how to set travel schedules. They know how to hire people on the ground, the operatives.
But this is the real key about the fact that people aren't there. I mean, think about Ohio, which is the ultimate battleground state, and we have a sitting Republican governor who is supposed to control all the machinery of the state, a very strong, powerful political actor who is not there.
He's outside the building. He'll be in Cleveland, but he won't be at the convention.
He is not, and he's also not fully supporting the candidate. So, you know, if you only get half support from a for a candidate, that probably is not enough in a battleground state. And Trump at this point is trying to run a campaign that we've never seen across the country with as little in terms of system as possible. It's unprecedented.
Basically based on his own personality more than anything else.
Exactly. It's a Twitter campaign thus far, and it's likely to remain that.
Thanks a bunch.
Good to see you.